Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to the Plaid Sheep Oracle. This is a general reading for you. It's timeless. Whenever it finds you is the right time. So something pretty serious and intense is happening for you, Scorpio. We started out with a little synchronicity. I went to the farmer's market this morning and I bought some mallow greens, and they came with flowers. They flowered. So I clipped them and put them in this little vase. And on the bottom of your first deck is the Beauty Way and this lotus flower. So something is going to flower for you. Something pretty intense, I think, is changing for you. You are in the midst of a transition or transformation of yourself that I think is going to change everything for you, Scorpio. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but what you're doing is right, because we start with this Beauty Way card here and these synchronous flowers, and then we move to this lower world and luminous warrior. And on the other side is this blade. And the blade always looks to me like a portal. So I feel like you are the luminous warrior here, Scorpio. You've been doing some work. Maybe you've been excavating your own darkness, parts of yourself that were hidden to you, parts of yourself that you hid from your own sight. I'm kind of starting to dislike the term shadow work. It's kind of everywhere. It sounds trite now, overused, but maybe you've been doing shadow work. Coming to terms with things that you didn't want to show, things that maybe you felt shame about or guilt, things that you hid because they were unwelcome at some point in your life. But now you're coming to understand that those things are not the enemy. They are part of your strength and your gifts. And so you're going to pass through this blade portal into this spiral. Today I'm sort of seeing it like one of those slides at a water park, right? That's like a tube that goes around and around and around. And it's exciting, but it can also be disorienting. You may lose a sense of which way is up. You may get a little dizzy. I think that all of these things, you may feel all of these things, discomfort in various ways, as well as a rising sense of anticipation, right? Of what's going to happen when you get tossed out at the bottom end, right? What is at the end of the spiral slide that you're traveling on now? And I think one of the things that's at the end is self-love. I mean, this may be, right? It's the Two of Cups. It could be romantic love or deep friendship with somebody else. But it feels today really like creating unity in your own mind, in your own self, the different parts of yourself, really learning to work together, learning to look at each other with love. The Two of Swords can be decision, but it's also about combining head and heart. So making decisions that use both parts. Creating a unified will as an alchemist might seek to do. In order to do the great work, to be successful, you need a unified will. You need all of your parts moving in unison. And I think that you're there. I think you're learning to listen. As you're spinning through this spiral, going through this portal, doing your work, you are learning to listen. Listen to the messages that are coming in. And this leads to some serious transformation. The Hierophant for me often is, and here perhaps particularly, an example of as above, so below, and as within, so without. So really embracing that idea that you can see and understand things that are going on with you by looking at what is happening elsewhere, perhaps in astrological ways, in the sky, really as above, or in your environment in other ways. And then also looking at what's happening in your life, the as without. And how does that correlate with your feeling within? You're really, I think, going to get good at that. Going to be in this place of strength where you're not fighting with yourself all the time, where you're more outgoing or even more aggressive, conflicting, even predatory parts, right? We are sometimes predators going after what we want. It doesn't have to be about violence or cruelty or any of those things that we sometimes associate with the word predator in a human sense, but predator as a lion or a wolf is, or an eagle or a scorpion. And this leads you into a whole new place, a whole new way of being, a whole new world, this journey that you're on. And it may, right, you may vacillate a little bit between periods of waiting, periods of calm, and periods of a lot of activity, of sudden change. In a previous life, I worked in theater, and you would often spend lots of time sitting around, right? There was this sense of hurry up and wait. You would sit for periods down in the trap room or in the wings, and then the act would come to an end, and there would be intermission, and everybody would leap and move into action. So there may be experiences like that for you. Periods of contemplation, periods of looking to what you might do next, and then periods of sudden change. And part of this journey is getting comfortable with that. Getting comfortable with uncertainty, with the idea that things may change suddenly, that some things are happening that are out of your control as well. This lightning that comes, or the weather, right? If you were waiting for a ship to come in, looking out, you don't know, you're not in control of the weather. What winds will bring the ship. So there are those things that are outside of our control, even for you, Scorpio, out of your control, and getting comfortable with that. And I think that you are. I think that you are succeeding at that. I think that you are getting comfortable with the ability to just be to allow other things to happen, to not have to effort or exert yourself, that you can in fact just sit and be and things will come to you, that you can be magnetic, that it isn't about having to exert yourself on the world, that things can come to you, that you can wait for something to arrive, as well as seeking it. It may be exciting for you to go out and seek things. And so you can change depending on the situation. You will be flexible, Scorpio. When you need to wait, you will wait. And when it's appropriate, you will move. You'll be able to rest, to sleep, to really, really rest, to not be hypervigilant, to really rest when that is what you need. And you'll be able to move and be free and just go when that is what you need. Whatever it is that you've been seeking, you see that you have all the parts. The work that you've been doing has given you all the parts. There is completion. And this is kind of a reiteration, right? That you will know that there may be times when the moment is to wait, and you'll be able to do that. You'll be comfortable. You'll be grounded in your Taurus opposition. You have that. There's the Taurus-Scorpio axis. You will have Taurus's patience, as well as your own fire to move. The modern ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, but the traditional ruler is Mars, and I think of them as co-rulers, or sort of that both of them are at home in Scorpio. So there is a martial energy in Scorpio. And then there is also this opposite Taurus side. And the beauty of those oppositions in the zodiac is that we can use both sides of that axis. That when it's appropriate, you will have Taurus's patience, Taurus's grounded quality. And then you will have your own Mars, the ability to act with fire, to move when that's appropriate. And that will take you to your calling, if that's what you've been searching for. I think that we are, right? We're searching for what we want to be, how our life wants to be. We want to be comfortable in our lives, but we also want to feel purpose. We want to feel direction. We want to be able to hear the call clearly, like a great bell ringing for us. The clarion call. And you're also, right, the sign of transformation. And I think that you will have that as well, right? Not just the ability to rest or move, but to be flexible, to do what is required in any situation. Maybe it's a mixture of things. You will have the ability to conjure what you need, including the right state of mind. And that takes you to this Queen of Fire. She is serene. She is comfortable in her power. Right? The higher expression, perhaps, well, maybe not higher, but the changed expression of Scorpio, moving from scorpion to eagle to phoenix and back again, around. She's comfortable wielding her fire, as well as being comfortable in this quiet, meditative, heart-centered space. Traditionally, the Queen of Fire, the Queen of Wands, is Aries. And Aries is also ruled by Mars. It's a link between Aries and Scorpio, this fiery energy, this courage that you have. And when you have that, we end here also a little bit, getting in your boat. And actually under the boat is the King of Fire. So both the Queen and the King are there. So maybe this is romantic love or deep friendship. Maybe that is where you're headed, and that is part of this journey that you're on. Maybe this is some of what you've been seeking. But it may also be another example of that unification of self. The receptive yin, more feminine principle, and the active yang, masculine principle. The parts of you that like to dream, and then the parts of you that like to do. The parts of you that are organizers, and the parts of you that want to play. All of these different sides can come together for you. There isn't a need for conflict. Everything can work together in the unified will. And I think that's exactly where you're headed, Scorpio. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it. It's working. Even if you're in, perhaps, I don't know, this where you are on this journey. I don't know if you're still in this deep exploratory phase now, or if you've passed through this portal into this more fast-moving spiral, into your water park slide. It might feel that way. Uranus at this moment is in Taurus as I film this, opposing Scorpio. You may be feeling radical change. You may be feeling like you're in this slide. But wherever you are along the journey, if you're there, or if you've already come into this space, and there may be a little bit of sense of confusion, maybe for a moment, because it's new, it's so new to feel so at home in yourself. That may feel really new for you. So it takes a little period of adjustment. Even when you've arrived, there may be little moments of confusion. Is it really happening? Have I really arrived? And you can say, yes, yes. I know that some would say that the journey never ends, that you keep healing, keep working, but I think that it's okay to come to a new space, to a space that is enough, that you don't have to reach perfection. You don't have to find every last thing that needs healing. That you can like yourself, that you can love yourself, that you can feel comfortable in yourself, that you can rest sweetly, gently, that you don't have to keep digging for the next thing. Life is going to throw up contrast, right? As we travel, different stuff will happen, but you will have the inner resources to deal with that. It can be enough. Perfection is not necessary. So there you are, Scorpio. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'll see you next time. So long.